Welcome back to That's Another Story podcast. So this is the last episode in the season. It's flown by, absolutely flown by. And today I thought the best way to round this off is to just cover some of the subjects I've done so far, and also really the messages and questions that I've got the most I'm going to address today. And also I just wanted to make this a little bit about, you know what, hats off to all of us single mums, because all mums are amazing, but I'm talking about me. And I'm a single mum, and I just want to say that just keep doing you, keep being strong, and it will all pan out, because I know how hard it is. And I know I get a lot of messages saying, I'm going through this, how have you come out the other side? Which is another subject I was going to touch on. You do come out the other side and you do heal, but this isn't showing any negativity, because what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But you never forget, like there's always that little bit of what happened to you, and that's obviously in any area. But like I say, I talk a lot about single parents. So yeah, you get better, but you never forget. And in season 2, I will address my marriage to Layla's dad. And I've come to the conclusion that I don't pick great men. And I go for a certain type. Don't get me wrong, their dads are completely different, but there must be something that I go for. I definitely go for womanizers. That's what I do. And actually it was very strange, because not last night before, a guy came into where I work and he said, oh, I watch your podcast, so does my girlfriend. I said, oh, thank you, and he said, can I ask you why, not why you're celibate, but why you address that? And he said, when I say why, like that's quite a personal thing. And I said, because I always said, from the minute I have done this podcast and the one before, I will be nothing but honest, and I genuinely mean that. Even if I set myself up for, when I say a fool, to be bombarded with trolling, hating on me, I'm never going to lie. And none of us are perfect, we've all made mistakes, and that's it. So yeah, I have been celibate probably longer than 12 years, and I have touched on this before, and it's not something that I consciously said, right, I'm celibate, that's it. It's how my life has made me be. Like, I don't really trust. I think we know that. I have got trust issues. And also, no one's actually got my attention. Fuck off, Tom.
Sorry.
No one's actually got my attention at all. Like, I might have thought, oh, he's not bad looking, but no one's actually got me. So that doesn't mean the shop is completely shut and I've locked the door. But what it means is, unless I get that, oh my God, I want to date this guy, or I want to go on a date, or I want to give him my number, it's just not happening. And it hasn't happened so far, so I very much doubt if it's going to happen. I will probably go to my grave a single woman, and that's not me saying poor me, that's just me being real. But if I don't, I promise he'd be sitting here on the podcast, only once though, because the thought, I've worked with my partner, I work with Layla's dad, we work together, ate together, lived together, slept together, and it's too much. So if I do meet someone, he can come on the podcast for one time only. But I don't know if David Beckham's free or Ghost from Power. I will try and get hold of him, but if not, there won't be anyone partnership-wise sitting next to me. Another question that I get asked a lot, why did I go ahead with my pregnancy if I knew that another woman was pregnant? Now, I understand that question. Reason being, I had been pregnant the year before with Nigel and he wanted me to keep it, and there were certain things that happened that personally, and I know there's a lot of people that don't agree with terminations, but for me it wouldn't have been right. So I terminated that pregnancy, and the minute I done it, I regretted it. I really struggled. And then when I fell pregnant with Harley, it wouldn't have mattered what was going on. Wild horses could not have changed my mind. I loved him from the minute I conceived him, and I've touched on that before. So even when I found out that Caroline was pregnant, I was probably 3 months when I found out she was pregnant. And firstly, that didn't make me for 1 second think I'm not having this baby, because I was meant to get Harley, and that's it. That's all I can say. But I do understand that question. But that's it. He's here and I'm so glad. So that was the answer to that question. Amy, I know Amy edits my podcast for me, so she reads a lot of the questions and messages that I get sent. So over to you, Amy. Chuck at me any questions that stick in your mind.
So the most asked question we do get almost every single day on every single post is, what really happened between you and Lauren? Why did that podcast end, and why have you started your own now?
So, I was on a podcast called Yours Sincerely, and I genuinely loved doing it. Genuinely loved it. Had a great time. But as time went on, I think it became, Lauren and I are two very different people. Very different. And that's not to say I'm better or she's better. We are just very different people, and that's a good thing. That, you know, that's what makes the world go round. But we had different views on certain things, and came to a point when we didn't get on anymore. In the grand scheme of things, there was an explosive argument, and that was the end of it.
Another one you get quite a lot is, how do you do it, raising your kids, being a single mum, as well as having like the past that you've gone through? I think people resonate in similar ways, maybe not the same, but similar situations, and they're doing it alone as well, and I guess they just want a bit of advice and comfort.
Yeah, I think what we do as single mums, if you're going through trauma as well, you pop that trauma in a box, certainly what I done, because raising Harley, I did feel a little bit like I was robbed of, I can't find the right word, I was a little bit robbed of just being a mum. I think I was under so much trauma, pain, worry, stress, that, and I did instill that in Harley. I know that sounds awful, because I do think they feed off their mums, because I was just, well, we all know, I've been over this many times. With Harley, I was just wrapping him in cotton wool. So I think my advice is, I'll tell you what my advice is. Speak your truth as soon as you can. Don't hold anything in. I know we have to, as mums, put things into compartments, but I held my pain, my fear, my grief in for so many years, that I probably was never myself. I feel like I've not been myself for a lot of years, and I don't know if anyone can understand what I'm saying here, but because I was, and I've been through this such a lot, but the narrative of my life and who I was so untrue that it's almost like you live a lie. I can only say, if you can help it, don't do that. Speak your truth from day one. Don't let any man, woman, parent, family member or friend silence you of the truth because of how it will make them look. Like, fuck them. Absolutely fuck them. It's your right, which I learned from a lady that we had on the podcast, if you watched it. It's your birthright to live your truth. So that for me is a major, major thing. So I literally, he don't even know where he is. He's not even meant to be on here. But he's come in with my daughter and I've demanded that he sits here. And I had my daughter-in-law on last week, for any of you that watched that. And I just thought, right, let's put Tom Welland.
Let's put me on the spot instead.
Let's put Tom Welland on the hot seat. So I'm going to chuck 5 questions at him, and he's got to answer them. He doesn't know what's coming. So,
let's go.
What did you think of our family the first time you come round?
Well, I knew you lot before.
Yeah.
I knew Layla, so I have my opinions already. I knew you was all fun. I used to chat with you at the boxing club, didn't I, in the gym?
You did.
For a long time before, and obviously I knew Harley.
Yeah.
For a few years before I knew Layla, so.
And are you going to sit here and admit, when you kept saying to Harley at one of the boxing matches, shall we check on your mum? You had no interest in checking on me, did you?
Nah. I did feel sorry for you though.
Did you? Why?
Yeah, because you was left all on your own.
What, Layla?
Yeah, no, but that's
but
the point.
she went, didn't she? Amy was there.
Layla went somewhere. I don't
With
know where
Amy?
Layla went. Was it with Amy? Yeah.
And I was sitting
I did
there.
sort of think, and Harley was like bowling about, like we were just doing what we was doing, and then he come and sat next to me, like on the other side of the arena. And I did sort of think, Harley, you can't do that.
Can't leave your
You
mum.
can't leave your mum over there on her own in like Rosehead.
I lead a terrible
Like so far
life,
back.
don't I, Tom?
Oh, it was terrible. I did feel really bad for you that day.
No, but I mean in general, do I lead a terrible life with my kids?
No, it's just chaotic, Liz, because you're so busy.
Are they a pair of bastards?
Yeah. I won't help. Yeah, they are.
All right.
And trust me, I know, because I'm the taxi driver. So.
You're the taxi driver. Question number 2. Do you want to marry my daughter?
I do want to marry your daughter.
He does want to marry my daughter. Do you?
Yeah.
That means I'm going to be your monster-in-law.
No, Liz, you're my mother-in-law.
Oh, see, Amy? Amy called me a monster-in-law.
Amy went the complete opposite direction, like, yeah.
You know what, though? It's different with a boy, being a boy mum to being a girl mum.
Is it?
Yeah.
In terms of how though?
Because women are bitches.
Yeah.
And we see different things that men see.
Yeah, I suppose with Harley as well, with Amy, it's a bit like, that's my little prince, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
That's
yeah, I can
my
get
little
that.
bastard.
Yeah, like Amy will get it with her little one as well.
She'll get it with Kobe,
So,
I know,
yeah.
exactly that.
Like, it'll be the same thing.
Question number 3. What is my best attribute? Not physically, Tom.
Oh, Lisa.
Don't you dare.
Lisa, you
No,
cheeky
what
devil,
is
Lisa.
my best? What do you like about your mother-in-law?
Lisa, you're very fun, I have to admit.
I
Like
am.
we come indoors with our little sweets.
Oh, we do.
Lisa. We come indoors with our little sweets, don't we? When I'm out of camp, we have dinner,
We do.
and then we have our little sweets and we just pick at it for hours, don't we?
100% we do.
You are very fun. We have some weird dances, don't we, Lisa? That's just one of them.
That's
we
one
could go
of
on
them.
for hours.
Next question. Is Harley hard work as a brother-in-law?
No, not particularly. I think he could be. I do really think he could be. Like, he can make himself hard work. But Harley, I think where Harley knows me outside of Layla as well, you know, like he knew me before. He knew what he was getting. Like, he knew that I was like genuine. He knew what he was getting. But I feel like he can be. Like, if you're the sort of person that Harley doesn't like, or Harley is like proper against it, then yeah, he'll make it real hard work. Like, he'll make it really hard. But I think Harley knew with me that I wasn't going to cause no trouble. I weren't going to do anything. You know, like, I I wasn't I don't think I'm a bad kid, and I think Harley knew that.
He did know that.
I remember that little chat we had out there when a couple
Stop
of years
it!
ago.
He never called you for a little chat.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like that. Like we was
No,
outside sitting down, we were sitting down just talking, and then we had like a little chat, and he was like, "Don't do like just do me a favour and don't hurt her and all that sort of thing." Like it wasn't anything like that.
Oh, that breaks my heart.
Yeah, but I said to Harley, don't be so silly.
And Tom, obviously you're a boxer.
Yeah.
I won't lie, it's not on the same level as watching Harley fight because I hyperventilate.
Yeah, of course, no, 100%.
But I actually now can't bear the thought of you boxing. Like,
really?
I hate it, yeah. Absolutely hate it. Like, I sit there, my boss the other night said to me, it's the only time you're quiet and your whole face changes. And he said, it's when I've seen you watch Harley box and Tom.
Yeah.
And if I'm honest, as much as I wanted Layla to have a boyfriend, like, you don't do drugs, you don't, like, you're a decent, nice young man, I do worry that she's with a boxer in the terms of, like, I honestly believe you're going to be a world champion.
Yeah.
And what goes with that is the worry of, like, let's be real, you know, it takes
100%.
one punch. And I remember my son's dad, Nigel, Ben, if anyone doesn't know, honestly saying to me before a fight, if I end up in a wheelchair, are you going to push it? And he genuinely asked me that question.
It is always a possibility, but you sort of, I mean, I say to Layla all the time, like, you can't think like that, because if you was going out on a night out, you could get stabbed, you could take something you don't want to take and end up in a wheelchair anyway.
No,
like, you could get all of that other things.
Yeah.
It's like me and Layla don't go out. Do you know what I mean? So we like decrease that risk. Yeah, we decrease that risk of that happening. But obviously for me, like, I do fight per se. I do get punched in the head, and it is about one punch, but 9 times out of 10 it's the accumulation. So it all depends. Like, you've got to be real. Like, if you're coming to the end of your career and you think, do you know what, I've taken enough punishment, I need to fight that fight, then you've got to not fight that fight, because that's where it goes wrong.
And you know what else I know he asked me? If I lost everything, would you still be with me?
Yeah, and obviously for a boxer,
it's important, isn't it?
It's hard. Well, if you're fighting once a year, you only get paid once a year.
Yeah.
Like, really, do you know what I mean? So you've got to manage that the whole year. I mean, you could have a house, you've got all these other different bills, all your monthlies, whatever. You've got to manage that money the whole way through the year until your next payday. So if you lose that money, that's it.
That's it. It's
you know,
over, isn't it?
That's it. Like,
and for a boxer, your career can be over just like that. And when it's
100%.
over, it's over. Brutal, fake. When I say fake,
it's a doggy
you
business.
can have a changing room full of friends, managers, and when it goes wrong, you're sitting there on your own.
Yeah, 100%. And that is the harsh reality of boxing.
Yeah.
But that's why you always say to whoever's around you, and for me it's Layla, like, she's the closest to me really, apart from my mum and dad, like, you need to tell me once it's done, like, once it's finished, and once you see on the outside, like, right, that's it now, as long as we're financially stable with everything else, whatever, as long as we can live off what we've done, then you're done.
Then you're done.
Yeah, that's it. So.
Tom, you're done.
Lisa Andrews,
Tom, no, not done here. Your boxing career's done. You're talking, you're slurring.
I know. I put too many miles on the clock already.
No, so last question before I let you go. What are you going to buy me when you make your first million?
Yeah, whatever you want, Lisa.
Thank you,
Pay the mortgage off your house.
Would you?
I would, yeah.
Thank you, Tom.
Pay Mum Dad's mortgage.
We've done all right.
That's on camera.
That's on camera.
That's on camera.
Yeah, exactly. We've actually done all right with this.
You know, in 20 years' time, when I'm finishing, like, that's it. Lisa's gonna be like, oh, just so you know.
Yeah, Tom.
From the podcast a couple of years ago, about 10 years ago, this is what you said. So
everyone saw it. Yeah, exactly.
Unfortunately, you've got to live up to that now.
Exactly that.
But no, I wouldn't.
Tom, thank you for joining me on That's Another Story podcast. He didn't even know he was coming on, so that was. You're really good on camera, aren't you? I feel like he stole my timeline. You can go now, Tom.
I'm going, Lisa. Bye, Lisa.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. So I'm going to wrap this up in a little while, as it's the last episode, and just do a quick recap of season 1. Like I said, I hope that I've been as real as I possibly can. I'm sure I've gained some friends. I've definitely gained some friends. I'm sure I've gained some enemies, and I'm sure I've got some frenemies. But I've loved doing it, and I'm going to carry on doing it. And I think everyone that I've had on my podcast I've really enjoyed, and I've definitely learned something from. My first guest was Antonio, and I'd like to think that Antonio and I will be friends for life. We chat, we giggle, we voice note each other, and what I learned from Antonio was I think we all hide behind humour a little bit. I know I do, and I know Antonio does, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think humour, and I've said it before, without humour you might as well be dead, because you do have to laugh every day, and if you can see the funny side, not in everything, but in most situations, then you will get through. So I definitely learned that from Antonio, aka Janet. Can't forget Janet, because I just adore Janet. I had my best friend, my lifelong best friend, Sasha, came on, and we reminisced about our lives, and we literally just tipped the iceberg with our shenanigans in the 90s, and I will definitely be having some more guests on that lived through that with me, because there's some really great stories with that. I had on Alice, that we touched with eating disorders, and I definitely learned from that. I learned that I had a friend with an eating disorder, which had I have known more about it, I would have been able to help her. So that was definitely one to watch and learn from. And Alice is an amazing girl with so much strength. And I had Emma, I love Emma. We relived her trauma and what she went through, and she is such an amazing example of being a strong human being, that no matter what you go through, you can overcome it. And if you get the opportunity to sit down and watch Emma's story, like, I really think that you'll learn something from that. Then I had poor Amy on here. Poor old Amy, my daughter-in-law, when we chatted about monster-in-law, and we were both really, really honest, and I think we both learnt from that. But I had so many messages saying, oh my God, I'm the same, Lisa. I know my son's 13, but I'm like it now. And I really do think that is a mum and boy thing, for sure. And I think there's so much more to talk about there in season 2. And this is the final one, and I dragged poor Tom Welland on here, my daughter's boyfriend. He didn't know he was coming on. I didn't know he was coming on. They walked in and I thought, right, I've got you. And I'm sure we'll have Tom on again, because I am all about family. Like, my family are everything to me. So season 2, we'll always dip in and out of the journey and where we're at now. And mark my words, I will be getting Harley Ben on here. He keeps swerving it. I know he's going to come on. He knows he's going to come on. But it's all about timing. And when the time is right, Harley will be on here. And I'm really looking forward to that. Also, if there was any guests that you would like me to get on, or any subjects, I actually really, really would like a man to come on, and that didn't look after his child, that actually did walk away with no conscience. If you are brave enough, and I mean that with absolute respect, to come and sit next to me and tell me, if you have a similar story, why and how you done that, I would absolutely love that. And there wouldn't be, I won't get you here and strangle you. I would really, really like to chat to you. So if there is a man out there, please inbox us and Amy will reply. And I guess this is what you call a wrap. This is the end of season 1. Thank you for listening to my waffle. Thank you for listening to my story, and there is so much more to come. So I'll see you in a few weeks. Make sure, please that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, subscribe to Spotify, Apple, Amazon, follow me on TikTok, Lisa Andrews, Instagram, and thank you to the friends that I've made along the way, because I have so many special women in my life now that we have chatted because we've been through similar things, or we just found that we liked each other. Be kind, because kindness is what makes the world go round. See you all very soon.